Oh, yeah,
Thank you,
everything's
Brian.
stable, everything, yeah, so.
Good.
I am. Good evening and welcome to the City of New Franklin Council meeting tonight. We have two first readings, and it's going to be Mr. Cott's night, February 1st, 6:21.
Thank you. We will open the Finance Committee meeting at 6:21. Resolution 23R05, a resolution to add 2 full-time police officers to New Franklin Police Department and declaring an emergency. And this is something that we've been talking about for a while, that we would have to start moving towards a more of a full-time staff. Probably going to see it in the fire department also at some point. It's just getting hard to recruit and retain part-timers in the current job market. We have Chief Pickett with us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Nope. Okay, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we really look to answer any questions you have, and just kind of explain the need here. Throughout our county, really our nation, the numbers are down for police officers. This morning I went on Indeed.com, and just within 30 miles, there's a dozen places hiring full-time guys that they just can't fill those jobs. So the part-time officers that we have are going to be full-time officers at some point in this year. I'm hoping to keep them here in New Franklin instead of watching them go somewhere else. So with these 2 full-time spots, that would put our full-time patrol officers up to 14 officers, and that would allow us to run patrol with vacations fully full-time without any reliance on part-time.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Again, this is something that we have to move towards. Now, this is obviously going to be more expensive for the city, so we'll be saving money by not paying part-timers. But still, you're dealing with full-timers and the benefits that go along with them, and that's just unfortunately a cost of doing business today.
Yeah, correct. We're spending money every year on training these part-time officers that are leaving in the same year that we're training them. So I know last year we spent over $35,000 just training part-time police officers, and 3 of them left for full-time jobs late last year. So there's a cost savings there too.
Right. Oh, that's an excellent point. Thank you. Anybody have questions or comments?
We're not backfilling the 2 that we would hire. Say if we hire the 2 part-time officers, we're not going to backfill those positions with part-time.
No. Right now we have 3 part-time officers. I've spoken with them, informally over the last couple of months, and only 2 would be interested in this position. One's a full-time fireman at another city. So at that point, we wouldn't have a need for more part-time guys.
All right, any other questions?
I really do.
Yep, I think so too. I think it'll be very beneficial. I think it'll be beneficial that we have a full-time staff that gets to know our city, that our city gets to know them, because they're be the same face every time. So I'm very comfortable with this. Mr. Daniels is not here today, but he asked that we take time on this. So I will ask if it's okay with everybody that we take time on this and review it again next meeting.
Is that going to affect anything about these guys going anywhere, or?
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. I'm good with it too.
All right.
And also, I'm sorry, I do have another comment. Sorry. I do have to say, the police officers are really friendly. They're very nice. They go out of their way to be sociable to people. I noticed this.
Yeah.
It really does help. You're right.
Absolutely, they are. We've had great success. You've had great success with the people that have been hired. We get compliments all the time. The comprehensive survey, comprehensive plan survey, high marks for police, fire, and streets. So our city's very comfortable with our police department, and same thing with our fire department. We get the same thing with and you guys are a lot of times your men or women are seeing people at not their best time, whether it's a health issue or some other issue, but yet they're still there and they're still treating people with respect and dignity every time. So we certainly appreciate everything, and you guys obviously set that standard. So we certainly appreciate that. So we will ask for time on this and move on. Mr. Adamson, did you have anything?
No. Was a shocker.
Yeah.
You said it all.
We'll move on to resolution 23R06. Mr. Powell?
All right, this is a resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into an agreement with Fire Safety Services for the purchase of 5 complete assemblies of structural firefighting gear for the fire department and declaring an emergency. We got Chief Leslie here to answer some questions. How many typical units do we have? Every firefighter has their own turnout gear.
Yeah, every firefighter has their own turnout gear. We have a couple of spare sets of gear. The service life of fire gear is 10 years. After 10 years, they won't repair it, they won't do anything with it. That's an NFPA standard, National Fire Protection Agency standard. So really that 10-year mark is the useful life of our gear. So we've had grants in the past. Our last grant was 15 years ago for gear. We've applied a couple of times since then. They won't look at, we've been told by the grant people, they won't even look at us until our gear is 15 years old. How that makes sense, because NFPA says it's only good for 10 years. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how that happens. What we do is our capital improvement plan shows, has gear in it every year. Most years, up until the last couple of years, we've been able to purchase it and stay under the $10,000 mark. So there was no need to come to council for it. We tried to keep it on a rotation, and Lieutenant Ferguson is in charge of fire gear. He does a real good job keeping up on it, what the guys need, what we have in that. So unfortunately, with the rising costs of everything, gear has gotten to the point where we cannot purchase the gear and stay within we can't purchase 3 sets. Last year we only purchased 2 just because we wanted to get it in, and Dan felt at that time we were good with 2. This year though, we're looking at 5 sets. Just because those sets are coming up on the 5 that we're replacing, 4 of the 5 will be within the next year, be in that 10-year mark. So they'll be taken out of service. And then the other set will be actually used as a backup or a reserve set. So if we have a set that gets tore or it needs to go out, we try and keep a number of different sizes, because obviously the guys aren't all the same size. And then this gear, this quote here is for custom gear, so they actually have already came in. Fire Safety Services has come in, measured the guys, set them up for the custom gear. So that's basically, unfortunately, that's where we're at. Just the rising costs. We went with 5 this year because we did add those 3 full-time guys in December. We want to make sure, we want to get them in newer gear, get them custom. They haven't had custom gear. Most of the part-time guys got the hand-me-down gear, so to speak. Theirs was never custom, so we added these. The reason we're asking for 5 and not 3 is we also wanted to get those 3 new full-time guys custom gear, so it fits them, it's sized right to them. So, they've also advised us that if we do not, as of March 6th, there will be a 20% increase in cost for gear. So that was another reason too, we felt that we would go with 5, because all we're doing is kicking that can down the road, and if we can afford to get 5, let's get 5 now and save that 20% versus picking it up either later in the year or even next year. We'll still probably need a couple sets next year, only because we try and keep that, instead of having to buy 15 sets or 20 sets at a time, we try and keep it to 2 or 3 sets, keep it at a reasonable cost. So I would say probably next year it'll be be 2 to 3 sets.
Alright, that's, I know during budgets we had talked about your needing gear and stuff, so this was something that was budgeted. We were aware that it was coming, so here we are with it.
We're actually fortunate because for the amount of firefighting we do, our sets last the 10 years.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear, I saw the industry standard was 10, but I've seen where a lot of more active fire companies, they go 5 to 7.
Oh, yeah.
And if they get 10, they're doing great.
City, just the city of Akron and even the city of Barberton, they're lucky to get 7 years out of a set of gear. So yeah, we're fortunate in that fact that we don't fight that many fires where we go through the gear like the other departments do.
Anybody else have any questions?
Real quick, for our viewers at home, can you explain turnout gear?
Turnout gear is the protective gear that we wear. It's comprised of a pant and coat. The outer layer of the coat is Kevlar. It's a Kevlar Nomex blend. Then there's an inner thermal barrier and then an inner vapor barrier. So basically it encapsulates that person so you don't get exposed to the smoke, the heat, the cuts, anything like that.
So it's just a high-class raincoat.
Pretty much, yeah, it is.
It's
An
a nice
expensive
fire.
raincoat.
You know, that'll get paid.
The purchase of expensive raincoats.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I guess, what do you, that stuff is not be able to use by some smaller fire volunteer or anything, you just throw that out, or?
No, actually, what we normally do with it is as it goes out of service, we donate it to, in the past, we've donated it to either Akron, the University of Akron, or Portage Lakes Career Center, those places that do fire school
Okay.
for the high school kids. And they can use it because they don't do any live fire training.
Okay, good.
So they use it, we donated a number of sets over. The last time we donated, was to Portage Lakes Career Center for their fire school.
I just wanted to make sure we just wasn't pitching it out, because I'm sure there's probably some volunteer fire departments around us that we'd like to just have, something, so at least it's going somewhere good that somebody can use it.
Yeah.
Everybody comfortable waiving the 3 on this?
Yes.
Okay, we will close the Finance Committee meeting at 6:32.
I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled meeting for New Franklin Council, February 1st, 2023 at 6:33. Everyone will rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you do a roll call for the council members?
Mr. Cox?
Present.
Mr. Hargit?
Present.
Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Fetterman?
Here.
Mr. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Stock?
Here.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the regular scheduled meeting of January 18th.
Second.
Have a roll call, Kelly?
Mr. Hargit?
Yeah.
You abstain.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Abstain.
And Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Motion passes. 5-2. Is there any?
Four.
4-2, I'm sorry. I forget Jack's not here. I apologize.
Well, 2, it's not, 2's just abstaining, so it's just
Yeah.
4-0 with 2 abstaining.
Okay, 4-0, 2 abstain.
Yes.
Thank you.
2, 3, 4.
And one
I
absent.
abstain, Terry abstain.
And Jack's not here.
Jack's not here.
Trying to figure out the math with
Right, right.
Do we have any public comment? Anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to say? Kelly, if you would do our first reading resolution number 23R05.
A resolution to add 2 full-time police officers to the New Franklin Police Department and declaring an emergency.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee, and we ask for time on Resolution 23R05.
finance grant. Would you read resolution number 23R06?
A resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into an agreement with Fire Safety Services for the purchase of 5 complete ensembles of structural firefighting gear for the fire department and declaring an emergency.
So this resolution's to the finance committee as well. We had some discussion on the fire gear that we're gonna be replacing with this. I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3.
Second.
We have a first and a second, Kelly?
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 23R06.
Second.
We have a first and a second, Kelly?
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. We have no second readings and no third readings, no pending legislation. We have the mayor's report.
Here we go. I think everybody got the reminder on the financial disclosure statements that have to be filed, so everybody's got those. We get veterans on this thing, so. And they've made it much easier than in the past. You click on and find your old one, you can update a whole lot, so good luck with that.
Well, they must have raised the price then.
Yeah.
It's been $25 a year for years, is it?
30-something now?
Is it?
We talked about the grants and we're still chasing them and we're still trying to find the best way to do that. We have engaged as an independent contractor, Laura Jo Hawk, to assist us with some grants. She has years and years of experience in development with at the private and public sector. And so we're sort of starting slow. We're going to be chasing an AARP grant to try to come up with the money for the AEDs. So that grant app opens up. I think that we have to file by March 15th, so we'll be filing a grant application there. We will have her working on grants for the playground equipment at Grill, and we're in the process now. First of all, the Parks Commission assisted by a communications manager with trying to come up with a game plan for that. It's quite expensive, no surprise. But we do believe there's going to be grant money available, so she'll be working on that as well. And currently, today, as a matter of fact, working on sponsorship for city events at the Tour House. So we're going to be looking for event sponsors. All you local businesses have an opportunity. There'll be a nice brochure going out here pretty soon. And so we'll see if, and then as we go on, if it turns out it's fruitful, we may ever look at some other things and see if she can be helpful in addition to the other sources we have for grants. So we've had a lot of success. We want to keep it up if we can. Notify Me is a selection you can make on the city's website, as you may know. And it's right there in the top bar. And if you click on Notify Me, you can ask to be notified, and you will be notified either by email or phone, or both if you prefer, of a variety of events. Right now, the selections were community events, comprehensive plan, New Franklin businesses. We have added a new one, and in response to two things, first of all, at the last meeting there, we had some people come and they wanted to make sure they were notified of what might be going on at the golf course development. Councilman Powell has shared with us that he also has received some inquiries from residents who want to make sure that they get informed. So we have added an additional category to Notify Me for golf course development project. That's what we've titled it. And the description is that if you sign up for this, you can receive updates. You'll receive updates received from the developers of the Turkey Foot Lake Golf Course. So anything that we get from them, initially it may just be information. At some point in time, we expect it'll be site plans and those kind of things. So as we get those things, they become public record. We'll make those available for people. We'll notify people that those are available. They can receive those. And then also notifications of any and all city-related meetings relative to that. And that would be primarily planning and zoning, ultimately council, if if we have open workshops, if we have open meetings, just for information. So, I'll write about that in our post, and we want to get the word out, and Mr. Powell, if you can pass that along to your group, beautiful. So, you go to the home page, you click on Notify Me. It's very simple. You fill in your email address and or your phone, and then you select the things you want to be notified on, and then you go back up to next to your phone. There's a little box that says Save. You hit Save, and you're in business. All right. So that's happening. Let's see. One thing that's about to unhappen is the state of emergency. The federal government has there's the national state of emergency and the public health emergency. They are set to expire respectively on March 1st and April 11th. The current plan is to extend those both to May 11th. I'm not sure why they picked that particular date. And on May 11th, then both will expire. We've talked with Don Skoda with the Summit County Executive's Office, and it appears their intention then is to follow by terminating their state of emergencies. And then I'll have something for council as well to let ours expire as well. So 3 years. 3 years. Amazing. Time flies when you're not having fun, I guess, or whether you're having fun. And let me see. We are, last thing I have for you is the, speaking of emergencies, we're reviewing our emergency management policy, our plan. We told you the county is also doing that. They do it on a 5-year basis. Chief Leslie attended the meeting, and there'll be another meeting in May. And as the county updates their plan, coinciding with that, we're meeting, all of our department heads and staff will be meeting later in February for a review of our plan. We don't anticipate any significant changes, but if there are going to be any, we'll present those. And then our intention then is that we'll have a workshop or a session, so that the county and the public is aware of what the plans are here in the city of New Franklin. That's all I got.
Since Jack's not here, did you want to talk about the community meeting last week?
Yeah, we don't have anybody for that. Yeah, you know what? I was going to put that down, and I didn't put it down because I thought somebody else would. But yeah, we had the first of the workshops at Gather. There was, I thought, a very good turnout, and the folks who were there worked really hard. I think survey results were shared, questions were asked, residents had an opportunity for input, and that will all be incorporated into the plan itself. The next meeting is next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday, we'll be back at Gather. That meeting will focus on economic development. Last week's meeting focused on land use. And then they'll be back on March the 9th to talk about parks and recreation. So thanks for mentioning that. Well attended, well run. Great support, it seemed to me, from the steering committee. A lot of steering committee members there, and they facilitated the conversation at the table. So keep it up.
I was surprised at the number of people that showed up. It was a great turnout.
Yeah, it really, really was. Thanks for reminding me.
And everybody seemed to be having a good time.
And they're engaged.
They were very engaged. I was surprised by that too.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Kevin, thank you for bringing that up too. Sue, do you have a finance report?
Yes, a small report. We've finished all of our deadlines, or at least the ones that were at the end of January. There's a few that kind of linger into February, but we've been working on them steadily to get everything done. As you can see in your mailbox, you got your W-2s on time, so everything's going the way it's supposed to, and hopefully we'll be back on a more steady schedule. Just to let you know what our unexpended balance is at the end of 2022. So this will be our starting balance. The unexpended balance is $6,690,942.41. That's for all funds. There's an encumbrance for at the end of the year of $564,324.87, which is subtracted from the unexpended balance, which gives us an ending balance of $6,126,617.54. So, still a nice healthy balance going into our new year, and I have sent in all of our total of all sources into the county. The budget commission at the county will review that, and then we will get our updated certificate sometime later this month with the actual ending balances, which will be the beginning of balances for the 2023. So that's kind of the next thing that's going to happen in budgetarily. Other than that, we are doing our same as usual every month, closing out and trying to get everything handled. We've had some inquiries by people that need help with their RETA problems. So please, if you have an issue, contact the office. We have a liaison, a government liaison, and we can usually get things handled and fixed for you if you have a problem, but we don't know that you have one unless you contact us. So please, a lot of people have come to us and we've been able to help them. So please do so if you have any issues. And that's really all I have at this moment.
So in other words, instead of calling Rita, they should come to you first.
If they have a problem with a penalty or that a filing that they had done that didn't, apparently Rita's saying they didn't have it, yeah, because I can actually scan them and send them through the member services directly through their email service and get confirmation right away that those have been received. And then also, what happens obviously when you're late, you get a penalty, and depending on what it is, you could get a penalty and interest. Once I do that and verify that for them, then we can get rid of the penalty and the interest for them. So that it just works out a lot smoother that way.
Thank you. Do we have any old business?
I've got something that it started off as some old business, and it's a new issue that come up. I had a resident reach out to me in reference to the trash service and a new fee they're seeing on the trash service. Resolution 22R13 we passed back in February of 2022, and that was to renew our trash services with Republic. And I went back, looked at this, I didn't see anything in the information we were given. And then I also had a link to the original contract from Green. I went through that as well for all the pricing and stuff. And I didn't see anything in either document that said that they have the ability to charge us a fuel surcharge. And that's apparently what it looks like they're doing now. It started in November of 22. I went back through my invoices all through the summer. We didn't have anything. We would have been in this contract through last summer. Didn't see any fuel surcharges on there. And then as of November 1st, with their invoice, they started charging. And depending on the level of service you have, it could be $2, it could be, I think mine was like $3.50. And that varies. I'm assuming what they're doing is they're charging, they probably had a flat rate amount that they budgeted in for fuel, say $4 a gallon for diesel fuel. And they're figuring in a percentage over that for whatever increment of your service would go towards that fuel. But I didn't know if that was something we could look into, get some further clarification on it, because I didn't see anything in there that was noted that there'd be a fuel surcharge.
Yeah, I will. I'll refresh myself on that. My recollection is that there was a fuel surcharge in the Green contract. I think we talked about this before. And Republic wanted to enact that. And this was, I think, was back when Terry Thompson was still with them. And we had conversations with them about when our start date was, and if you remember, we had negotiations with them in terms of what rate we were going to pay. It was a little more than what Green had, and that as part of the resolution of that, they agreed to delay the implementation of the fuel surcharge. And I believe it was to start right about then, but I'll pull up my old notes on that. I think we all talked about this as council too, but I'll see what
I don't recall it, because I didn't see anything.
I'll pull it up.
Perfect.
I'll let everybody know.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Any new business? Do we have any public questions? Any questions on anything that happened tonight in the meeting?
I'm just
Cruising along, we just cruising along.
Paul, do we have a need for an executive session?
We do not, but round of applause for Katie Smith for asking she wants.
We want to thank Ms. Katie for coming in tonight and chatting for us. We could not have had our meeting quite as well without her. Thank you, Katie. No problem. I would like to make a motion for an adjournment.
Second?
That was first and second, guys.
Mr. Cox?
Nope.
Mr. Burkett? Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
And our next meeting is going to be February 15th, 2023.